Equitana, Melbourne, a hugely popular showcase for all pleasure and sport horse pursuits. An equine expo, bringing together all the leading suppliers of every product, innovation or service that might conceivably be of use or interest to the horse owner, breeder, lover and competitor. But more than just a massive trade show, it's about entertainment and the diversity and thrill of the many and varied horse-related activities and sports. And this year, we step up the competitive aspect with the inaugural Equitana Australian Open. 5 events, 5 different equestrian sports or disciplines. The very best horse and rider combinations competing fiercely for big money. Many of Australia's and the world's gun riders are here, competing, contributing, or passing on their knowledge and experience in masterclass presentation.
So here we are, literally under the big top at Equitana. With me, ace horseman Hamish Cargill. You must be like the proverbial kid in the candy shop. This is horse heaven.
Well, isn't it amazing, Gary? The things you can see here over the weekend. If you came here as an absolute beginner about horses, by the end of the weekend you'd go home an Olympic champion, I think. The amount that you could learn here over a weekend.
It's a showcase for what is really a multi-billion-dollar industry, isn't it?
Well, that's the surprising thing. Even as an equestrian enthusiast and rider myself, I'm surprised by how much there is in the horse industry here, and we're seeing it today out in all the exhibition halls and in all the various competitions that are held over this weekend.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the enthusiasts and those people. This is a one-off opportunity for them to get up close and personal with some of the stars of the game.
Well, they see the stars, the international stars. Equitana does a great job bringing up all the fantastic names from around the world in all the various disciplines and bringing them together to Melbourne at this time of year.
And you mentioned competition, and we're breaking new ground this year with a multi-event, 5 different events to make up what they're calling the Equitana Australian Open.
Well, this is a pretty exciting concept, Gary. All these different events being held together. We're seeing dressage, show jumping, the Reining's about to kick off behind us, and also camp drafting and cutting. So really getting a chance to see a bit of all the equestrian sports.
And the reining, the camp drafting, the cutting brings a real outback Aussie flavour to the event, doesn't it?
Well, doesn't it? I mean, for me, I'm more used to the traditional sports of dressage and show jumping and eventing, but here we are, we're seeing a few of the Western guys in. There's a change of hats and a change of boots, and it's all pretty exciting to see, I must say.
Okay, thanks Hamish. Before the reining kicks off, let's hear from some of the stars of the Equitana show, why they're here and what Equitana means to them.
I think Equitana has been fantastic, as you say, for the sport in general. It's been the first major trade fair of its kind and the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere. It gives everybody an opportunity. I think from a teaching point of view, we've all had an opportunity to learn to present, and education-wise, it's been a real growth spurt for the whole industry.
It's just so good to see so many people here, and actually so many people shopping. Like I saw 2 girls coming today with those market fruit and veg trolley things you have on wheels and a list, and they're talking. They were so excited coming in and shop and buy the whole place, I think. And it's really good to see all the new things that are coming out as well.
Everyone that's here is passionate about what they do, and that's what makes anything work, isn't it? Somebody, you know, is talking from the heart. It's like us with our saddles. I mean, I designed them for a purpose, and so it's nice for people, if they really interested in the saddle, to talk to someone who you know is passionate about why it works.
So our first event in the Equitana Australian Open is the Reining Championship. Nothing to do with the weather. It's a serious equestrian discipline, Hamish Cargill. You could even say an art form, and Australia's got some of the world's best exponents.
We certainly do, Gary, and the recent World Equestrian Games in Kentucky showing that we have world-class riders in the reining.
Here's a map of the course. Now, what happens here, the riders have to perform these circles and a figure 8, and the mark of this contest are the great spins and the sliding halts that horse and rider perform.
Well, it's a sport conducted at pace, and the spins and the stops really do bring the crowd to their feet.
One of the champions of this sport, in fact 2-time world champion, is Australia's Martin Larkham. Let's hear more from him.
Martin, you've got a few options today. Which do you think has given you your best chance to win?
As far as horses go, you mean? Well, they've probably got strengths in different areas, so really you never really know. You know, if they both perform to the best of their ability, hopefully we'll be somewhere up there.
Well, one of Martin's toughest opponents is going to be Warren Backhouse. They were both in the Australian team at the World Equestrian Games.
They certainly were, and they're very tough competitors here in Australia. As you can see, Warren just performing his initial manoeuvres here. He's done his big open circle. Now he's a little more collected. Really, the idea with Reining is to show the training of the horse and how rideable and easy it is.
It's all about subtlety, but heightened communication and understanding between the horse and rider. This horse, Terminator Wiz, 9-year-old quarter horse stallion, has got $250,000 in lifetime earnings already.
Well, he's very, very, very well performed horse, this one. And as you can see here, he opens it up. You see the hand forward, showing that the rider is really just leaving it all to the horse.
Briefly, everyone starts on a score of 70, then 1.5 points are added or deducted for each of 8 separate manoeuvres that they must complete during the routine.
That's right, and here we are seeing Warren really opening his horse up into the gallop, that hand forward showing the horse is really just responding to him with very little communication, very little obvious communication between horse and rider there.
Well, as we said, the key, soft hands, imperceptible pressure from the rider with knee and heel to signal his intention to his mount.
Well, this is one of the most exciting parts of the reining competition, heading into the slide there. Very nice slide for our first one. Here's his second attempt at the slide, and that's very well performed. And a red hot go at that too.
2 judges, combined scores for Warren Backhouse and Terminator Wiz. Outstanding, 141.5. Now, John Wicks and Aston Lee Thunder Road.
Aston Lee Thunder Road only on its 3rd outing in competition. It's had 2 competitions before for 2 third places, so hopefully we'll be able to see a very good performance here.
Well, there's plenty of experience in the saddle. John Wicks, 3-time national futurity winner.
Yeah, $180,000 to John's name so far in his career.
This is an exciting prospect, Aston Lee Thunder Road. A distinctive buckskin horse.
Well, it's certainly a big occasion to bring out a young horse in too for his 3rd competition here at the Equitana Australian Open.
And also, it's been out for quite a long spell, this horse. This is its 1st competition back. This is a big ask.
It certainly is, because there's quite a lot of atmosphere in the arena here at the Melbourne Showground. Here he is, his first slide. As you can see, the horse just not quite gripping and sliding there well. Sort of bumped up, and that's what the judges don't like to see.
As you've gathered, quarter horse is the preferred breed. That's because of their cool temperament and their lightning reflexes.
He could be very happy with his performance, John.
Yeah, well, judges are divided. 67 from one, 71.5 from the other, a combined 138.5. 2nd place at the moment.
Well, now we come to one of the youngest riders in the competition today, 23-year-old Sean Saunders. And he's riding a horse called Whiz Peppy.
He trains with Warren Backhouse, so he might be young, but I bet you he knows a trick or 2.
Well, Sean's got a goal to earn himself $100,000 by the time he's 30. And I see that he's already halfway there at only 23 years of age, so he's got a big career in front of him.
The horse Whiz Peppy. You'll notice there's a few whizzes in this competition by Whizzle a Melody, one of the great sires in quarter horse racing, in quarter horse performance.
Well, Whiz Peppy's got some very good performances to his name. 2005 National Reining Horse Association Open Futurity Champion. And that's a pretty good result to have under your belt.
Well, they're both potential champions, aren't they? Because Sean was the youngest rider at 17 to win the NRHA Open Derby.
Well, I reckon he's a good contender here today too, Gary.
Well, I reckon he set the standard with the slide. 137.5 from the judges.
Now we see Warren Backhouse back in the arena with his horse Doc's Fancy Roy.
Doc's Fancy Roy, eh? Bay stallion by Playboy Roy, an imported stallion.
Well, with a very good jockey on board too. Warren Backhouse, $250,000 in career earnings and a 13th place at the World Equestrian Games to his name just this year.
This horse, by the way, is owned by Errol Thomas. He's the president of the National Reining Horse Association, so he'll be on the